Bitcoin is showing some serious strength, and it's coming at a time when the rest of the market is still fairly uncertain. Over the last few days, Bitcoin broke through massive resistance at 86,500, and that volume has sent it straight to the next resistance level that we're eyeing now, around 95,300, which is a key confluence area that will decide much of the next trend of the market. And while stocks in Bitcoin have not fully decoupled, what we are seeing is Bitcoin starting to lead, and it's moving with intent. And that's something worth paying attention to, especially because altcoins are now starting to respond to that momentum. In this video, we'll break down that breakout and take a look at what to watch as Bitcoin heads towards that next resistance level. That resistance level could signal massive continuation up to new highs, or could be a pivot down to new lows that we'll need to be ready for. So let's break it all down. All right, you guys, we have the Bitcoin 4-hour chart pulled up here, and you can see this massive strength that Bitcoin has had over the last few days. And in my previous videos, I have talked about Bitcoin needing to come up for that sub wave B, and you can see here that we have done that nicely. We were targeting down towards this 0.5 area at 92,000, but with the volume and strength that Bitcoin is showing, it is heading for that next resistance level clearly. So you can see here that next resistance level is sitting at 95,300. That's the major 236 retracement on Bitcoin. And then we do have some smaller subwave degrees kind of aligning there and showing some confluence at that area as well. So along with that 236 Fibonacci retracement, it is also a 618 local retracement of just this A wave down. So that is just another critical area, giving us another signal that this could be a major resistance level on Bitcoin. And then furthermore, we have the subwave here of our B. So the C of B is also landing right around that critical level there. So this is what is making this level here just very, very critical and the one to watch on Bitcoin. So you can see we came up just really close to that price. I do still think it's possible that we come up to touch this level a little bit more perfectly than we have already. What you can see on the RSI is that as the price did come up to a new price extreme, we are still seeing new extremes on the RSI. Usually this signals that the trend is not complete yet, so that we would need one more small high, probably to those larger targets that I'm talking about. So that 95,300 area, if we come up there and hit that with the price, and our RSI is not as strong as the previous breakout, that will signal huge bearish momentum on Bitcoin. So this is going to be the level to watch on Bitcoin, 95,300. And like I just mentioned, that is what we are going to be looking for. So this is on the 4-hour. I would definitely get a little bit more zoomed in, even to 1 hour. You can see here that we have a bearish divergence starting to form. So we have our RSI coming down as the price is ranging and will most likely come up for that new high. So what I am expecting is price to come up and touch this 95,000 a little bit more perfectly, but still keep intact this bearish trend that is forming here on the RSI. That will give us a really strong indication that Bitcoin has topped at that price. And as I was mentioning, guys, this B level here could signal the C wave correction from there. So if I step back a little bit more to the 4-hour chart again, you can see if we do have our resistance coming in here at this top at 95,000, it keeps our C level intact all the way down there. So with a high right around there, bringing up to 95,300, that puts our C target right down here at 60,000. So low 60,000s could definitely be where Bitcoin could be targeting if we find resistance at this 95,300 area. So that is very much how critical this next wave is, to either break through this level for continuation up to new highs, or it's very likely that if we do find resistance, that we start to come down for new lows on Bitcoin. So again, if we do come up perfectly to that 95,300 area, we have our C wave targets landing down at low 60,000. So as this starts to come up to this next major resistance, we are going to be looking to see if the market is showing strength or exhaustion. And we can see right now it definitely is getting exhausted, but we haven't had that perfect touch of that fib yet. So I do think that we still will have one more slight high up to this 95,300, at least for that next test. So if we can get the strength to break through this level here, we could continue on to new highs on Bitcoin, and that would be up towards 126 about area. But you can see our subwaves are already forming bearish divergences, and it is coming up to this massive level. If you look over to the left, you can see just how critical of a level this is here on Bitcoin. So we are coming right up there, probably going to hit resistance, in my opinion, and start to come down for wave C. So like I was just mentioning, the bullish scenario would be coming up towards this resistance, but breaking this with extreme momentum and starting to break towards new highs. So that would be more of the bullish scenario. It's all going to be dependent on how we react to this price there. All right, you guys, I have POPCAT pulled up here, and this is just one of many examples of altcoins that have really started to react from this momentum on Bitcoin. And you can just see how beautifully of a new trend this asset has done. So again, this is POPCAT coming off of new lows and forming a first new bullish trend. So from that low there, POPCAT has done over 260% from its lows. So incredibly bullish on some of these altcoins. We are starting to see massive momentum come through. Just like we were expecting these new trends to start forming, and I really think that that is what is happening now. So many coins have come up for that first initial wave off their support, and will likely be retracing just a little bit now because we have come to one of the first wave. So it is expected on many of these coins to start making a little bit of a correction, not necessarily a new low, but coming to like this 618 retracements, a little bit deeper of retracement for a wave 2. Because like I said, many coins are in this exact phase that you see here. This is a really strong example of what is happening, where we have altcoins really taking off as a new trend from their lows. So this is very classic example of what you can see on altcoins right now in the crypto market. We just have months or even years in some cases of a foundation being built, and then starting to see that momentum breaking past previous highs is a really clear signal that we are on to new trend. So when you zoom in a little bit more, our new trend is getting a little bit exhausted. So our wave 1 is probably almost complete across the market as far as altcoins go. Coming up for their initial wave 1, most likely all of them have, and are probably coming down for their first wave 2, and then really taking off from there. So I just wanted to show this POPCAT because this is a really clear example of the momentum that is getting driven from that Bitcoin price there. So you can see we really are starting to have that altcoin season that I think will be only accelerated in the next few weeks. So I'm excited to see how this continues to play out. So again, this is a POPCAT and one a little bit lower of a market cap. So you can see kind of how more exaggerated this response is here. All right, guys, and I have Ethereum pulled up here, and I'm stepped back to the daily. We don't have a whole lot of action coming off of Ethereum. We have not broken past previous highs here on Ethereum. I would really like to start see it breaking past this 2000 level just for really good confirmation that it's on a new trend. But similar to XRP, we didn't get a whole lot of reaction with the Bitcoin momentum coming up. We really did see a lot of really low caps start to take off, which might rotate into these altcoins here soon. So we are seeing Bitcoin take off and that momentum shift into very low caps, but it could soon start to head over here to Ethereum and XRP. You can see that with Ethereum, we did get a really nice 786 touch there on support and held it there for a few days and started taking off. So it's overall similar to other altcoins. I'm expecting Ethereum to start to come up for a new trend, start to make new highs off of here. But we are still waiting on that confirmation just because no real price levels have been broken at this time as far as Ethereum goes. So that's Ethereum. I do think overall this is in general a safe place to be accumulating, not necessarily trading. For trading, you're going to want to keep that activity to a fib level here. But overall, this is a good accumulation zone. If you're looking to get into Ethereum, I do think that we should be taking off to new trends from these prices here. So that's Ethereum. Nothing too crazy happening over there, but I wanted to show kind of the lackluster reaction that's been happening on some of these coins. So then finally, before we take off here, XRP has a similar lackluster reaction as to Ethereum. So you can see here, this was kind of that reaction. I'm zoomed into the 1 hour here, but you can see as Bitcoin kind of came up to that large new high, we didn't really get a whole lot of a breakout on XRP that we would be expecting. It was really front ran by Bitcoin, all the attention to Bitcoin on that move up. It was incredibly strong. But what you are seeing here on XRP is it attempting that 224 resistance level and finding major resistance there. So we could not close above that price on the daily and have found resistance starting to come down, looking for these supports. So because we could not break that 224 resistance level there, all of our support levels are still valid. So we have the $1.90 major support level still valid on XRP, as well as the $1.55 major support level. I do think that either one of those could be coming next in this next wave down, especially because even with that momentum that Bitcoin had, we could not break this massive resistance here. So if I zoom out just a tiny bit more, you can see just how massive this resistance level is here. And yeah, we're seriously struggling to break that. That would mean that we need to come down to our support levels to get that momentum to start to break up. So again, our major supports are at $1.90 and $1.55. They have not changed with this last high. We do have a little bit of a bullish level that I'm looking for a potential bounce from. So this is at $2.04. With the subwaves that have built so far in this correction, that is where we could be landing. So for short-term trading, that could be a level that's worth eyeing in the next day or so, is that $2.04. But ultimately, I do think the market is heading down towards $1.90 at least. If we do see a break of that $1.90, we could be heading towards $1.55. And this fake out here, this attempt at reclaiming 224 levels, but with that resistance that was met with it, is only strengthening the need for it to come down for these supports first. I do believe that we're going to be coming down to these supports The only thing that would change my mind on that is if we do start to break above 224 and hold that price on the daily. So again, that's a very critical level on XRP. We are probably still going to be coming down to needing those support levels to be able to break it. So that is what you're seeing here, is that I believe we could minimally be coming down for a C wave to the $2.04. So that is what you should be expecting on the XRP market. So to sum that all up, Bitcoin is showing some massive strength, breaking that 86,500, but now all eyes are on 95,300. And whether we push from there up towards continuation to new highs or get that resistance pivot down to new lows, this is going to be a very critical level to watch. And if you found this breakdown helpful going through technical analysis, just like I've shown you today, make sure to check out the Cassie Trades Discord server where I go through my full approach and I give regular crypto updates and teach traders of all levels how to read and trade the crypto markets. You'll find the link and more information in the description below. So until next time, thank you guys for watching and I will see you in the next one.